Hey, good afternoon, C3. It's Mr. Milne. Chapter 19. We're not from here. We're finishing the book this week, so please make sure you are keeping up. I know some of you are already finished. We're trying to catch up with you. We are going to have a bit of a culminating project when we finish the book all together, and I'll be posting double videos and double questions all this week on Class Dojo. I hope you all enjoyed it. It really is one of my favorite books. I think it's really topical. While it seems like science fiction, this idea of immigration, of how certain people are portrayed on the TV news, whether that's here at Earth or at Planet Choom by the Zuri government, I really think is a discussion that's worth having, and again, is kind of important with all that's happening. So here we go. Chapter 19, The Door in the Floor. I ran to the couch and turned on the TV news. It was showing a segment about some kind of hive construction project the unified government had just announced. "What's happening?" I asked. "I don't know yet. Just wait." We didn't have to wait long. The next segment began with a shot of my school. "Today marked a disturbing new development in the unified government's human immigration experiment. The children of the ICE Interspecies Ed Academy were terrorized during their midday nutrition when a younger human ran amok. There must have been a drone camera somewhere in the lunchroom, because the image switched to a grainy slow-motion replay of my leap into the empty stool. The lower legs of one of the Zuri kids in the cluster above me were just visible, and in slow motion the way I flapped my free hand in the air made it look like I was reaching up to grab at the kid's leg. Even worse, with the sound all stretched out, the delighted shrieks of the kids in the lunchroom all sounded more like cries of agony. Without warning, the violent and primitive animal lunged at a defenseless Zuri child, attempting to drag it to the floor. "That's not what happened," I yelled at the screen. My dread was curdling into panic. ICE's chief educator expressed shock and concern at this act of violence. The image switched to an interview with the principal outside the school's front door. "This was both unnecessary and hurtful," the principal said, "and for the safety of all of our students, I have taken steps to change our security agreements by—" His interview ended in mid-sentence, and the image replaced by an old Earth horror movie clip of a man with knives for fingers chasing a screaming teenager. "It is unknown at this time whether the new security measures will include banning the human animals from attending school." "That's not what he said. He was talking about the guard." "Regardless, the human presence on Choom may come to an end as early as tomorrow." The image switched out again to a shot of a cluster of older Zuri, led by the dead-eyed chief servant, flitting from a pod into the building. "In response to the latest violence, the chief servant has scheduled an emergency meeting with representatives from the Immigration Division. The meeting will take place in the late morning, after which everyone agrees the United Government would be foolish not to announce the end of the human experiment." Ida stared at me in horror. "What did you do?" My whole body felt like it had turned into jelly. All I could do was shake my head. "I just made them laugh." This is a constant theme in this book. The idea of how the human family is being portrayed by the Zuri news, and whether or not that's fair, and whether or not that's used to influence unfairly to get a result that the Zuri government wants, or some of them want. Again, I think that's really, really topical if we think about how TV works now, about how sides are portrayed, and about how people that have power, such as the Zuri government, can use that power in ways to influence decisions that whether they make on Choom or whether get made by us on Earth. I think it's something to analyze and very much think about. "You've got to understand," I told my parents for the third time. They all loved it, and the principal was totally on my side. He practically told me to make a video with commenting it. That whole news report was a lie. "I know," Mom said as she rubbed some of Hump's anti-venom cream onto her arm. "Unfortunately, it was an effective lie." By the time Mom and Dad had left work, huge anti-human protests were underway outside both their workplaces, and Mom would get hit with a stream of venom. The TV news had claimed the protests were more evidence that we were causing disagreement, even though what had really caused the protests was the TV news lying about what I had done in the lunchroom. They were still running the lie on the news every few minutes, and the longer they kept it up, the worse the protests got. Judging by the noise of the whining we could hear as we sat outside our dining room table, there were at least 1,000 angry Zuri outside our subdivision. "I'm sorry," tears welled up in my eyes. "This is all my fault." Mom reached across the table to take my hand. It's not your fault. You won over a whole school full of kids, and that's good. And not everyone believes the news. Leanie's on our side, and I get the sense that he's not the only one. There are a lot of people in the immigration division who I think want to give us a chance. Trouble is, Dad said, will they have the courage to speak up for us in that meeting tomorrow? Or will everyone agree we should leave? I don't know, Mom admitted. I can't tell how much influence immigration has inside the government. It seemed like the executive division is the real center of power. The executive division is run by that old guy who came to dinner, the one with the dead spots in his eyes, who said art was poison. Mom and Dad both nodded. And at this meeting tomorrow, Isla went on, he's going to decide whether we stay or go? Unfortunately, that's what it sounds like, Dad said. My screen bleeped. It was a message from Naya. These are the best clips I could find. Why do you want them? So random. Rough, rough. Attached to the message were a dozen files. Naya just sent me the clips, I announced. I'd already explained my idea for Meet the Human. Mom and Dad had both agreed it was worth a shot. You get to work on that video, Mom told me. Your father and I will try to figure out how we can get the Zuri public to watch it. It's going to be risky, and there isn't much time, but Leanie might be willing to help us. I'll try to find Mark before school and ask her too, I said. Mom and Dad gave me quizzical looks. How can Marv help? I don't know for sure. She won't give me a straight answer to anything. But yesterday, I paused. She made me swear I wouldn't tell you this. But she's got some kind of illegal business. She offered me a ton of money for my Birdlies videos. And at first I thought she was reselling them to other Aurora. But then, now that I think about it, she might have wanted to sell them to Zuri instead. Maybe she can help us distribute a video to people? How much money did she offer you? I asked. I think it was like 400 Re an episode. That's it? What do you mean by that's it? Isla bit her lip. She gave me 5,000. What? Isla reached into her pocket and pulled out a shiny metallic disc, cross-hatched with circuitry. She showed it us in the palm of her hand. Supposedly there's a ton of money on this clip. Unless Marv lied to me. Mom was shocked. We all were. Why didn't Marv give you 5,000 Re? So I'd play a song for her. Isla stood up. There's something I have to show you guys. Isla led us into her bedroom. I'm sorry I didn't tell you right away. I just didn't want to mess it up. She opened one of the bottom drawers along the wall. It was empty, but she bent down and probed with her fingers along the inside of an upper frame. Oh, geez, where is it? Here! She pressed an unseen button. A few feet away, a 3-foot square trapdoor opened in the floor. What the heck? Dad exclaimed. Isla reached into the secret compartment and pulled out an acoustic guitar. The body was made from some kind of red plastic, and it was strung with gold wire. She took the guitar over to the bed and sat down, laying it across her lap. Her face practically glowed with joy. I hadn't seen that kind of look from Isla since we'd left Earth. It was like she'd recently discovered her whole reason for living. It took me forever to tune in, she said as she strummed the guitar lovingly, and Marv had to rebuild the bridge a couple of times, but it sounds so good now. I played The World Turning Round for her, and she recorded it on one of those drone cameras. Then she built me this compartment to hide my guitar in. She said I could keep it as long as I didn't tell anybody. How long was she here? I asked. Oh, a few hours. She came in the middle of the day. So that's where Marv had gone when she left the lunchroom. This is amazing, Mom said, shaking her head. Dad nodded. And it explains something, I think. What? This afternoon at work, one of the Zuri supervisors came up to me. He was whispering like he didn't want anyone to hear him. He said, "Can you make the noises?" And when I said, "What noises?" he got spooked and walked away. I think he must have been talking about music, but this would have been before Marv recorded you today. Oh, she already had my pop singer videos, Isla told her. She got them off my screen when she stole it from Lon. That's why I played The World Turning Round for her. When she gave me the guitar, I started to play Under a Blue Sky, but she said she already had that one. I bet she already sold the pop singer clips to people, Dad said, and that guy at work saw one of them. For him to approach me like that, he must have really loved it. Mom looked at me. Can you get a hold of Marv? Right now? I shook my head. I don't know how to get in touch with her. I either see her at school or she comes here. I turned to Isla. What about you? Can you reach her? It was Isla's turn to take her head. She said she'd come find me when she wanted to make another video. Does anyone remember how to get to their house? Mom asked. It was all such a blur, Dad said. We were moving too fast, and on the way home, it was too dark to see. The guards outside might know. Mom turned and started for the door. I'll tell them we need more anti-venom cream for Marv's parents. Maybe they'll give us a ride. Unsurprisingly, the guards wouldn't give us a ride. They also wouldn't answer Mom's questions about how to get to Marv's house, or even how to get in touch with Leanie to ask him for help. Leanie's planning to come by in the morning, Mom told us. Until then, I don't know what we can do. I could try to find Marv before school, I offered. That doesn't leave us much time. The government's having their meeting in the morning, Mom sighed. But I guess it's all we can do. She turned to me. Get to work on that video. Clips of people tripping over themselves aren't going to save us, Isla told me. You should make a video with music instead of comedy. No, Mom said. You should make one with both. The four of us worked on it together, huddled over my screen at the dining table until the middle of the night. When we finished, Meet the Human was 90 seconds of physical comedy gold, followed by Isla's tear-jerking version of Under a Blue Sky from the Pop Singer show. The song didn't have anything to do with the comedy, but somehow it all worked. Are you sure we shouldn't use a different song? I asked. I mean, if people have already seen this one. Dad interrupted her. Sweetheart, if the whole planet had already heard Blue Sky, they wouldn't be having a meeting to talk about throwing us out. They'd be breaking our door down with free guitars. Or throwing us in jail, I thought. But I didn't say it out loud. Trust us, honey, Mom told Isla. You want to play the hits. It's good, I asked, right? It's a good video? It's better than good, Mom said. We just have to get it in front of people without the government censoring it. But there's nothing we can do until morning. Let's get some sleep. As stirred up as I was, it had been an exhausting day, and the auto-massaging mattress worked its magic. Within minutes, I was dead asleep. An hour before dawn, I woke up to the screams of Zuri soldiers pointing electrified prongs at my face. That is the end of chapter 19. Again, I really want you to think about art, music, culture, and its influence on others. It's been banned from Planet Shun. But that is what our culture, our music, our poems, our songs, our fruit, like that is what we're trying to use to introduce ourselves to the Zuri to change their mind. And I think historically that's a powerful thing to think about, how often maybe that has worked to bring people together. Questions coming up on chapter 19. See you very soon for chapter 20.